The Nurse's Secret: How much of your life can you rebuild when the foundation was built on a lie? The scent of antiseptic, an aroma that usually brought calm to experienced nurse Eleanor Vance, now felt suffocating. At 30, she worked in the intensive care unit of Boston General Hospital, but a past she had fought to bury had returned with unexpected urgency. "Mommy!" A high-pitched voice broke the silence of the hallway, and an automatic smile lit up Eleanor's face. "Chloe, I've told you, I'm a nurse, not a doctor," she corrected with affection, kneeling to hug her 7-year-old daughter, who was running with a toy stethoscope. "But you take care of people just like a doctor," the girl replied, her bright pink glasses perched on her nose. Behind her, her twin sister, Mia, approached, holding hands with Mrs. Davidson, the kind neighbor who watched them during Eleanor's extra shifts. "Sorry for the delay. The traffic was impossible," Mrs. Davidson apologized. "Don't worry. You're just in time for me to show you the new pediatric playroom. There are books for you to read while I finish organizing my files," Eleanor explained, kissing Mia on the forehead. The girls clapped with excitement. Chloe and Mia were a reflection of Eleanor, except for their eyes. A striking blue-green that she recognized from another face, one she tried to erase from her memory every day. "Be good, okay? We have very delicate patients today," she warned them. "Yes, Mommy," they replied in unison, with a seriousness that always touched her. Eleanor walked them to the colorful room, a space created especially for employees' children, a victory she had helped achieve. As she organized her day's tasks, she allowed herself a moment of reflection. 7 years had passed since she had given birth to her daughters alone in this very hospital. 7 years of building a safe haven for the 3 of them. She had learned to be both a father and a mother, to balance the family budget, and to work double shifts. Eleanor's phone buzzed. It was a message from the coordinating desk. "New patient transferred to ICU, room 704. Patient, Victoria Sterling, 67. Fall with head trauma. Condition delicate. Sterling." The name hit Eleanor like a punch to the stomach. Boston was a large city, but not big enough to erase all coincidences. She had treated people with the same last name before. "Coincidences happen," she told herself, taking a deep breath. "Patty, I'm heading to 704. Can you keep an eye on my little ones?" she asked a colleague. "Of course those little beauties are my favorite goddaughters," her friend joked. The 7th floor hallway was silent. Eleanor knocked on the door and entered. The patient, an austere-looking woman, was connected to monitors. Next to her, a younger woman was flipping through a magazine. "Good morning. I'm the nurse in charge, Eleanor Vance. How did Mrs. Sterling spend the night?" Eleanor asked. The companion looked up. "The night was restless. My mother-in-law had episodes of mental confusion. The doctor says it's normal, but we're worried." Eleanor nodded. "I'll check her vitals. Dr. Carter should be by soon for a full evaluation." As she performed the procedures, she felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity. "Who was that woman? Is she your daughter?" Eleanor asked casually, adjusting the IV drip. "No, I'm her son's fiancé, Nathan Sterling. He'll be here shortly. He had an emergency meeting at the office. You know how it is." Construction companies never stop. The world stopped for Eleanor. The stethoscope nearly slipped from her hands. Nathan Sterling. About to walk through the same door after 7 years. The father of her daughters. The man who had abandoned her without explanation when she needed him most. "Is there a problem?" the woman asked, noticing her paleness. "No, just a drop in blood pressure. It happens at the end of a shift," she lied, controlling her breathing. "I'm going to order the pending tests. Excuse me." Eleanor left the room, her heart pounding. It couldn't be. Not today. Not with the girls in the hospital. She had to get them out of there immediately. Almost running, she headed to the playroom, where she found Chloe and Mia playing doctor with teddy bears. "Girls, we have to leave early," "But Mommy, we haven't even operated on Mr. Fluffy," Mia protested. "We can come back tomorrow with the kit," Eleanor promised. "Did something bad happen?" "You look like you've seen a ghost," Chloe asked, always the more perceptive one. The observation made her almost laugh nervously. A ghost. That's exactly what Nathan had become to her. "No, my love. Mommy just remembered we have to go to the grocery store before we go home." As she packed up their toys, she tried to gather her thoughts. She needed to tell the coordinating desk to replace her on this case. She would invent any excuse. The sound of voices in the hallway paralyzed her. One of them, deep and distinctive, hit her like a lightning bolt, unearthing memories she believed were buried forever. There was no time. She took the girl's hands. It was too late. At the end of the hallway, walking toward her, was Nathan Sterling. More mature, his face slightly marked by time, but unmistakable. The same proud bearing, the same penetrating gaze. He wore an impeccably tailored suit, the uniform of a successful businessman. Their eyes met. First, confusion. Then, recognition. And then, absolute shock when he lowered his eyes and saw the two little girls. Two girls with his same eyes, the same face shape. Time seemed to freeze. "Good morning, sir," Chloe greeted with her natural friendliness. "Are you here to visit someone sick?" Nathan opened his mouth, but no sound came out. His eyes went from Eleanor to the girls, from the girls to Eleanor, in a cycle of painful understanding. "Chloe, Mia, let's go," Eleanor said, gently pulling her daughters and avoiding Nathan's gaze. "Eleanor!" His voice was hoarse, almost a whisper. She kept walking, quickening her pace. "Eleanor!" he called louder this time, taking steps in her direction. "Not now," she replied, without looking back. "Do you know him, Mommy?" Mia asked curiously. "He's an old acquaintance," she replied. Not in her stomach. She managed to reach the elevator and got in quickly, breathing a sigh of relief as the doors closed. "Mommy, why was that handsome man looking at us like that?" Chloe asked. "He must have mistaken us for someone else," Eleanor replied. A painful revelation. They reached the hospital cafeteria. Eleanor needed time to think. She ordered juices for her daughters and a strong coffee for herself. "Mommy, are we leaving before you finish work?" Mia asked. "No, my love. Mommy has to finish her shift. We'll wait here for a while, and then we'll go back to the playroom with Aunt Patty," she replied. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number. "We need to talk, please. I'm in the hospital chapel." Nathan, how did he get her number? Probably through the hospital system, she muttered to herself. "Girls, would you be okay with Aunt Patty for half an hour? Mommy has to sort something important out." The twins were busy drawing on napkins. Eleanor left them with her friend and headed for the chapel, a small space in the hospital basement. When she opened the door, she saw Nathan sitting in the back pew, his head down, his hands clasped in a way she never imagined seeing in him, who was always so self-assured. He looked up at the sound of her footsteps. His eyes were red and moist, another shock for Eleanor, who had never seen him cry. "How long?" was his first question. His voice choked. 7 years, Eleanor replied dryly. 7 years, he repeated, as if trying to process the magnitude of the lost time. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Tell you? The man who disappeared without a trace? The man who cheated on me with another woman, without even having the decency to break up with me in person?" Nathan frowned. "What are you talking about? I never cheated on you. You're the one who disappeared. The one who wouldn't answer my calls. The one who blocked all contact." Eleanor's blood ran cold. "Don't make up stories, Nathan. I saw the pictures. I got the messages." "What pictures? What messages?" He stood up, running a hand through his hair. "Eleanor, I came back from my business trip and you were gone. No one at your job knew where you were. Your phone was disconnected." The air filled with unanswered questions. "I was pregnant, Nathan. With twins. Your daughters," Eleanor blurted out. He staggered. "My God, I have daughters," he murmured. "Those little girls are my daughters?" "Yes, Chloe and Mia. They were born on May 21st, 8 months after you vanished from my life." Nathan covered his face with his hands. When he lowered them, there was a newfound determination in his gaze. "Something is very wrong with this story, Eleanor. I would never have abandoned you, especially not if you were pregnant. Someone interfered. Someone lied to both of us." Eleanor crossed her arms. "And who would want to do that?" The silence that followed was telling. Nathan's eyes involuntarily darted toward the room where his mother was hospitalized. "No," Eleanor shook her head. "She wouldn't do that. My mother never approved of our relationship. She called you that nurse, didn't she? She said I deserved someone from our circle. But from that to separating a couple, to hiding a pregnancy, you know my mother. You know what she's capable of when it comes to protecting the family, as she puts it." Eleanor sat down, her legs feeling weak. She remembered the strange messages, the unanswered calls, the photos she had received from an unknown number, showing Nathan hugging another woman. "If what you're saying is true, we lost 7 years. You missed the birth of your daughters, their first steps, their first words." Nathan sat beside her, maintaining a respectful distance. "I need to meet them, Eleanor. I need to be their father. They don't even know you exist. When they ask about their father, I tell them he lives very far away." He whispered, "And now I'm here. Please, don't keep me away from them." Eleanor felt the weight of a decision that would change 4 lives forever. The girls deserved to know their father. But how could she introduce this stranger into their lives? How could she explain all of this? "I don't know, Nathan. I need to think. The girls are my priority." "They're my priority too from now on," he stated, with a conviction that surprised her. Eleanor's pager buzzed, calling her back to reality. "I have to get back to work. I'll decide how to handle this. Can I at least see them again, without telling them who I am yet? Just get to know them a little." There was so much pain and longing in his request that Eleanor couldn't refuse. "They're in the 5th floor lounge, but don't reveal who you are. They're sensitive, perceptive, like their mother," she replied. He smiled slightly, and it almost melted the ice she had built around her heart. A father's first step. Eleanor returned to the ICU floor, where she found Patty leaving room 704. "Eleanor, your patient's consciousness has improved. She's asking to speak with her son urgently." At that moment, Eleanor saw Nathan approaching the nursing station just as her daughters were leaving the playroom. The girls ran to her to show her the drawings they had made. It was like watching an inevitable collision in slow motion. Nathan stopped a few feet away, watching his daughters with such raw emotion that it broke her heart. The girls, feeling his gaze, turned with curiosity. "It's the man from before, Mommy," Chloe pointed out. "He looks sad." Mia, always the bravest, stepped forward. "Do you want to see our drawing? We made a hospital with lots of doctors and patients." Nathan knelt down to their level. His voice was choked. "I would love to see them." Eleanor watched the scene, torn between fear and the inevitability of the moment. As the girls proudly showed him their drawings, Patty approached her. "Who is he?" The girls seemed to like him. "Their father," Eleanor whispered. "He just found out he's their father." Patty's eyes widened. "Oh my God, is it him, Nathan?" Eleanor nodded, unable to tear her gaze away from the scene. Nathan was examining the girls' drawings with genuine admiration, answering their questions. His face lit up by a joy she had never seen in him. "Do you want to be doctors?" he asked, smiling. "Nurses like Mommy?" Mia replied with conviction. "Or astronauts," Chloe added. "We haven't decided yet." Nathan laughed, a sound Eleanor hadn't heard in so long, it almost made her cry. The girls laughed too, as if they were sharing a secret joke with this stranger. At that moment, the emergency bell sounded from room 704. Eleanor and Patty ran immediately. Nathan stayed with the girls, who watched the sudden movement. Inside the room, Mrs. Sterling was agitated, trying to remove her catheter. "My son?" she asked. Eleanor gently held her arms. "Your son is here. I'll call him." Mrs. Sterling's eyes met Eleanor's, and something in them changed. A flash of recognition, followed by astonishment. "You," the old woman murmured. "The nurse?" A shiver ran down Eleanor's spine. "I'll call your son right away." As she left the room, she saw Nathan still talking to the girls, now showing them photos on his phone, probably of some construction project. "Nathan," she called. "Your mother is conscious and wants to speak with you urgently." He stood up. "We'll save the drawings for you to see later," Chloe promised. "Thank you, little one," he replied, lightly touching his daughter's hair. A gesture so natural, yet so meaningful, that Eleanor's eyes burned. When Nathan entered his mother's room, Eleanor took the girls away, but not before seeing the expression on Mrs. Sterling's face, a mixture of fear and recognition. The past was about to be unearthed, and nothing would ever be the same again. As she helped her daughters put away their drawing supplies, Eleanor tried to process everything that had happened that morning. The unexpected reunion, the revelations, the possibility that her entire history with Nathan was based on a carefully orchestrated lie. "Mommy, that man has eyes just like ours," Mia commented. Eleanor froze. "You think so?" she asked. "Yes, blue with a little bit of green, just like us. And the same smile," the little one continued. "He's nice. He said one day he's going to build a hospital, just for kids." Chloe, quieter, looked at her mother, as if trying to solve a riddle. "He knows us, right, Mommy?" Eleanor felt a knot in her heart. Her daughters were always too perceptive. "Why do you think that, my love?" "Because he looked at us like you do, like we're the most important thing in the world." A tear escaped Eleanor before she could stop it. She quickly wiped it away, but not fast enough to fool her daughters. "Mommy's crying," Mia said, approaching her. "Just a little. Mommy is emotional because—" She hesitated, searching for the right words. "Because today is a special day." "Because of the man with eyes like ours?" Chloe asked. "Yes, my love. Because of him. Is he our daddy?" Mia asked directly. The world stopped for Eleanor. How could she answer that question? Before she could formulate a response, the door opened. Nathan was there, his face pale. "Eleanor," he called, his voice almost unrecognizable. "My mother confessed everything." Nathan's devastated expression said it all. A house of cards collapses. The air in the small room was thick, charged with secrets about to be revealed. The twins looked with curiosity from Eleanor to the stranger at the door. "Girls!" Eleanor knelt down. "Would you two go with Aunt Patty to the cafeteria for some hot chocolate?" "But we just asked an important question," Mia protested. Chloe touched her sister's shoulder. "Come on, Mia. Mom needs to talk to the man with eyes just like ours." Eleanor gave her daughter a grateful look. Patty understood the silent message. "Who wants hot chocolate with marshmallows?" After the girls left, a heavy silence settled in the room. Nathan entered, closing the door behind him. He seemed to have aged years in a few minutes. "She confessed everything," he repeated, his voice choked. "Everything, Eleanor." Eleanor motioned for him to sit. Her heart was pounding so hard she could feel it in her throat. "Exactly what did she tell you?" "She confessed she did it all. She intercepted your messages on my phone, hired a woman to pretend to be my lover, and sent you manipulated photos," he revealed. Eleanor's blood ran cold. The photos showing Nathan hugging a woman in a restaurant. The cruel messages. "And the trip?" she asked. "You just disappeared. My mother invented a crisis at the company, a loss of millions. She convinced me I had to travel immediately to save the business. It was all a lie. When I came back, you were gone," he lamented. "I blocked your number," Eleanor admitted. "And yes, I moved to a smaller apartment. I needed to save up for the babies." Nathan lowered his head. "I looked for you, Eleanor. For months. At the hospital where you worked, They told me you had requested a transfer. No one knew your new address. It was for safety, she explained, feeling a pang of guilt. I thought you might show up and make a scene. I was pregnant, vulnerable, and scared. I never would have done that, he began. But it doesn't matter. The damage is done. Eleanor looked at the man in front of her. Nathan had always been decisive, confident. Now he seemed broken. How is she? She asked, referring to Mrs. Sterling. Devastated. The doctor had to sedate her. Her blood pressure shot up during our conversation. She knew what she did was wrong. I think the imminence of death made her want to clear her conscience. And your fiancée? The woman who was in the room? Jessica, he replied dryly. She doesn't know anything yet. An uncomfortable silence settled between them. What do we do now? Nathan finally asked. I don't know, Nathan. We have 2 7-year-old girls who just asked if you're their father. They asked that? He said in amazement. What did you say? Still nothing. You got here before I could say anything. Nathan stood up, pacing restlessly. I want to be their father, Eleanor. Truly. Not just on paper. I want to know them. Be there for their birthdays, their school plays. I want to make up for every second we lost. It's not that simple. The girls have a routine. I can't just drop a bomb on them like that, she said. I know. We can do it gradually. First, as a friend. And your life, Nathan? Are you about to get married? Do you have a big company? How did 2 little girls fit into all that? My life changed the moment I saw those 2 girls in the hallway. Everything else, the company, the marriage, the commitments, took a back seat, he stated. Before Eleanor could reply, the door burst open. Jessica Smith, impeccable as always, looked at them suspiciously. Nathan, I've been looking for you for half an hour. What are you doing here with the nurse? She asked. The air in the small room became electric. Nathan straightened up. Jessica, she is Eleanor Vance. We need to talk. About what? Her eyes narrowed. Not here, he replied, looking at Eleanor. I'll handle this. Before leaving, Nathan turned to Eleanor. We can continue this conversation later. I need to sort this out first. She nodded, feeling the weight of the decision she would have to make. When the door closed, Eleanor allowed herself a moment of weakness, letting the tears she had held back finally fall. 7 years of anger directed at the wrong person. 7 years of raising her daughters alone, believing they had been abandoned. 7 years of convincing herself she was better off alone. Her pager buzzed, calling her back to reality. She had to get back to work. A promise kept. The rest of the week passed quickly. Nathan sent daily messages, asking about the girls, sharing old memories, and trying to rebuild the bridge between them. Eleanor replied with caution, still afraid to open her heart completely. On Friday, she was organizing files when her colleague Patty approached. Eleanor, Mrs. Sterling wants to talk to you. She's lucid and insists. With a pounding heart, Eleanor went to room 704. She found Mrs. Sterling sitting up in bed, looking weak, but with the same penetrating gaze. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor said formally, keeping her distance. I was told you wanted to see me. The old woman looked at her for a long moment. My son told me you reconnected and that he met the girls. He broke his engagement with Jessica. He hasn't stopped talking about them. Tears began to roll down her face. I was a fool, and now I will probably die without knowing my granddaughters. I just want to ask for your forgiveness. The years of resentment Eleanor had carried began to melt away. The girls are curious about their grandmother, she said. I told them you're sick. Hope lit up Mrs. Sterling's eyes. Would you allow me to see them? We'll see how you progress. If you're stronger, maybe we can arrange a brief visit. That night, Eleanor sat on her balcony, her phone buzzing with a message from Nathan. Still awake? Can I call? I just spoke with your mother, she said. I know, he replied, his voice full of emotion. She told me everything. I'm sorry, Eleanor. I'm so sorry. How do we tell them? She asked. I was thinking of something simple. Kids appreciate honesty. Maybe after our outing tomorrow, if it goes well. Do you think they'll accept me? They already like you. She said sincerely. Chloe asked 3 times if you would really come tomorrow. Sleep well, Eleanor. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Nathan. As she hung up, Eleanor realized that for the first time in years, she felt a sense of peace. Maybe it was a beginning, a house built on trust. The next morning, the girls were buzzing with excitement. Is Nathan coming now? Mia asked for the 3rd time. He'll be here at 10. We still have an hour, Eleanor said patiently. Are we going to tell him the secret? Mia continued. What secret? The twins looked at each other. That we think he's our daddy, Chloe whispered. The glass Eleanor was holding nearly slipped from her hand. How? Why would you think that? Mia rolled her eyes. It's obvious, Mommy. He has eyes just like ours. He smiles like us. And he looks at you like in the old pictures. What pictures? The ones you keep in the blue box in the closet, Chloe explained. We saw them once when we were looking for the school album. Eleanor sat down, her legs giving way. The blue box. The only place she had kept memories of Nathan. She realized the simplicity of their logic had disarmed her. For the twins, there were no complex lies or betrayals. Just the simple truth that their father had been far away, and now he had returned. At 10 o'clock, the doorbell rang. Nathan was there, with a bouquet of wildflowers for Eleanor and 2 packages for the girls. Inside were toy veterinary kits, with stethoscopes, thermometers, and white coats with their names on them. Now we can take care of real animals, Chloe exclaimed. Those are toys, Nathan clarified. But who knows, maybe one day you'll become real veterinarians. The trip to the zoo was even better than expected. The girls ran from cage to cage, asking endless questions that Nathan patiently answered. During lunch, Mia spilled juice on her shirt. Before Eleanor could react, Nathan was already on his feet, calming the girl, who was about to cry. It's okay, it happens to everyone, he said, taking off his own jacket and putting it on her shoulders. Now you have a superhero cape. Mia laughed, instantly transformed from a teary child into a powerful superhero. At the end of the day, Nathan suggested one last ride on the train. This was the best day ever, Mia declared. Back at the apartment, while the girls were getting ready for bed, Eleanor found the courage to speak. They already know, she whispered to Nathan, who froze. How? They figured it out themselves. From your eyes, your smile, and some old pictures they found. You kept our pictures? Some of them. I didn't have the heart to get rid of everything. When the girls returned, hair wet and in matching pajamas, Mia asked, Can we talk now? The adults exchanged nervous glances. They all sat together on the living room rug. Girls, Eleanor began. I always told you your dad lived far away. I thought he had left us, but I recently found out I was wrong. Grandma Elena did something bad, right? Chloe interrupted, surprising them. Nathan swallowed. Yes, my love. My mother, your grandmother, did something that separated your mom and me before I even knew you existed. Why? Because sometimes adults do bad things, thinking they are protecting those they love, Nathan explained. She thought your mom wasn't the right person for me. She was very, very wrong. So you're our daddy, Chloe concluded, not as a question, but as a statement. Yes, Nathan confirmed, his voice choked with emotion. I am your father, and I am so sorry I wasn't here all these years. But now you'll stay? Mia insisted. If you accept me, yes. I want to be your dad. I want to be in every important moment. To everyone's surprise, it was Chloe who got up first, walking slowly toward Nathan. Can I call you Daddy? Nathan couldn't hold back his tears. That would be the greatest honor of my life. The little girl nodded solemnly, before throwing herself into his arms. Mia, not wanting to be left behind, joined the hug. Daddy, she exclaimed, savoring the new word. Our daddy. Eleanor watched the scene, tears streaming down her face. It was as if a circle had finally closed. "Mommy, come here," Chloe called, extending her small hand. Eleanor joined the hug, pulled into a perfect circle of love and possibility. For a moment, the four of them remained like that, intertwined, finally whole. The following weeks were filled with adjustments and discoveries. Nathan visited the apartment daily, learning their routine, helping with homework, and reading bedtime stories. Mrs. Sterling, still in the hospital, received a visit from her granddaughters. The encounter was tense, but the girls, with their innate ability to forgive, won their grandmother over in minutes. After a month, Nathan finally gathered the courage for the conversation he had been putting off with Eleanor. It was late. The girls were asleep. They were on the balcony of the apartment, sharing a bottle of wine. "We need to talk about the future," he began. "We're fine as we are, aren't we?" she replied defensively. "We are, but I feel like I'm always just visiting. I always leave when they go to sleep. What I'm suggesting is that we live together, as a real family. It's too soon, Nathan. We just reconnected. But we've already lost 7 years. I don't want to lose a single day more. The girls need stability. And what if it doesn't work out between us? You've thought about the emotional confusion for them. And what if it does work out?" he countered. "What if we miss the opportunity to be happy, all four of us together, because we're afraid?" The question hung in the air. "I'm not talking about getting married tomorrow," he continued. "Just living under the same roof, getting to know each other for real, building something together." Eleanor closed her eyes. She was so tempted. The last few weeks had shown her a different Nathan, more mature, more patient. The girls were flourishing with his presence, becoming more secure, happier. "Where would we live?" she asked finally. "Wherever you prefer. We can move here, or we can look for a new place. Or I have a house in the hills of Virginia. Plenty of space, nature, excellent schools nearby." Eleanor imagined her daughters growing up with room to run, away from the city. It was a dream she never thought she could have. "We could visit it," she said. "See if the girls like it." Nathan's face lit up. "We can go tomorrow. It's Saturday. You had this all planned, didn't you?" "I was just hopeful," he corrected. The next day, the girls' excitement was contagious. The house was a contemporary marvel, with large windows, surrounded by a small lake and a well-kept garden. And, to the girls' delight, a half-built treehouse. "It was a project I started," Nathan explained. "I never finished it. Maybe we could complete it together." "Can we live in the treehouse?" Mia asked. "In the big house, my love?" Eleanor laughed. "The treehouse is for playing." "Are there rooms for us?" Chloe wanted to know. "Come and see," Nathan invited. He showed them 2 large, bright but empty rooms. "We can decorate them however you want." "Can I have stars on the ceiling?" Chloe asked. "And a pink wall?" Mia added. "Whatever you want," he promised. Eleanor watched, amazed. Nathan, who had always focused on business, now seemed to find his greatest joy in his daughter's simple wishes. At the end of the day, Nathan took Eleanor to the last room in the house. "I was saving this for last," he said, opening the door. Eleanor froze. The room had been transformed into a study, with a large desk, shelves, and, most surprisingly, a bulletin board filled with information about specialized nursing courses. "What is this?" she asked. "You always wanted to specialize in neonatal intensive care," he explained. "I researched the best programs in the region. This space would be yours, for you to study, to work from home." She ran her fingers over the brochures. "You remembered?" "I remembered everything, Eleanor. Every dream you shared with me. I don't want you to give up your career for us. I want you to expand it, to grow. I can help with the girls. We can make this work." Tears came without warning. They weren't tears of sadness, but of being truly seen and understood and valued. "This is high-level emotional manipulation, you know," she joked through sobs. He smiled, wiping a tear with his thumb. "It's love, Eleanor. just love. She looked at him, truly looked at him. Beyond the old pain, beyond the resentments. She saw the boy she had fallen in love with, the man she had lost, the father her daughters deserved, and something more, something new, and yet familiar. A partner. "We'll need time to organize the move," she finally said, "and I need to check out the schools in the area." His face lit up. "Is that a yes?" "It's a let's try," she corrected, keeping her feet on the ground. "One day at a time, one day at a time," he agreed solemnly, though his smile gave him away. When they told the girls they were moving to the house in the woods, the reaction was exactly what they expected. Shouts of joy and immediate plans for decorating their rooms. "We're going to be a real family," Mia exclaimed. "We already are," Chloe corrected. "Now we're just going to live together." Eleanor and Nathan exchanged glances over their daughters' heads, a silent acknowledgement of the wisdom in those simple words. Their family didn't begin with the move, or even with the reunion at the hospital. It had always been there, interrupted, but never broken. It was just waiting for the moment to reunite again. On the drive back to the apartment, with the girls asleep in the back, Nathan held Eleanor's hand over the gear stick. "Thank you," he said. "For what?" "For not letting bitterness win. For giving us a second chance. For raising our daughters to be so wonderful." She squeezed his hand in response. Words were unnecessary. The road ahead wouldn't be perfect. There was a lot to rebuild, to learn. But now they had time, and for the first time in 7 years, the certainty that they were exactly where they were supposed to be. True love is patient, and sometimes the best stories just need a little more time to be written. What is the most important lesson you think this story teaches us about forgiveness and family? Share your thoughts below.